Thanks for tuning in. This is Ian at Mobile Lube, Colorado. Today we are working on a 2023 F-750. I'm going to show you how to do a typical oil change on this vehicle today. Should be very simple and straightforward for you, but let's get to it. First things first, I like to start the vehicle, let it warm up, so we can get all that oil nice and warm, so when we do drain it, it's a lot quicker of a process and much more thorough of emptying as much oil out of there as we can. Once the vehicle is properly warmed up, we're going to go ahead and come in the engine bay here and take off the oil cap, because we are going to drain it and we want to have some airflow from the top so it drains a little faster. All right, now that we're under the vehicle, you can see your oil pan and drain plug there. You've got your filter here, and we're going to go ahead and loosen that. Doing this one hand, so I'll be right back with you. So obviously there's several ways to do this. You can drain the oil pan first, or you can take the filter off. I typically like to start with the filter. It's just a personal preference, but either way, it works. So I'm gonna just loosen this up here. I've got her loose. I'm gonna let it kind of drain out a little bit. There we go. And a lot of times I let this sit for a minute to be a little less messy, but if you don't mind getting yourself a little extra dirty, you can just spin it off right away. So we're just gonna kind of speed this process up here. All right, I'm gonna let that drain, and then we'll go ahead and reinstall. Now this is a good point to look right at the connection of the filter. I noticed there's no gasket. This is good. Sometimes gaskets get stuck on, especially if someone before you doesn't lube the gasket before they replace the filter. What I like to do is always after it kind of stops draining a little bit, always wipe it down. Never hurts. Never hurts. Give it a good wipe down. Now we can see it's clear. She's ready for a new filter with a lubed ring. All right, we've got the new filter here. Just gonna go ahead and take a little bit of oil. Get it around there. Nothing too crazy. And then we're gonna go ahead and install it. Keep that clean. Now, another little pointer here is you guys don't have to over torque these, man. Hand tight, keep it nice and tight on there. But you don't want to grab a tool to tighten it further. You don't need to do that. So makes it easier for you if you're the next guy to do the oil change again, or the poor soul that has to deal with it next time. Okay, so filters installed. I like to keep them kind of clean. Some people write dates on them, initials. You can do all that, but we're just gonna Do that, and now it's time to drain the pan. Now let's see if this is a 15 or a 16. So first things first, you always want to make sure, man, this is too loose, right? So it's actually 15. Break that loose. Okay, broke that loose. Pull my pan closer here so we can catch it all. We're gonna we're almost there. And pull. Okay, she's draining. We're gonna give that some time. We'll be right back. We're just gonna let her finish up. Now, you'll never get all the oil out of this. I mean, you can sit there and let it drain overnight. I've seen guys do that on their like personal vehicles and whatnot. But honestly, as long as you get to a point where it starts just dripping, that should be suffice enough to go ahead and put the drain plug back in, tighten it up, and start refilling it. So we're gonna let this wait for a couple more minutes till I see it how I like it, and I'll show you how that looks like. Thanks. All right, while this is draining, it's a good time to inspect the drain plug. There's a couple things you want to look out for. One, you want to make sure it's not all stripped. Make sure it's in good condition to take off next time and tighten. I've seen some horror stories where, you know, someone puts on a pretty stripped or tore up drain plug, and next guy that tries to take it off for an oil change can't, and it's stripped. So you got to have some special extractor sockets to get those off if you can. Some vehicles have like a little, especially like some Chevys, they have like a 13 millimeter drain plug, so it's not much metal. So if you strip it, it can be sometimes a nightmare to try to get them off. You also want to take a look at the gasket on this drain plug. Make sure it's not too bloated, falling off, tore up. This one looks really good. Threads look really good. You know, that's another thing to look for when you're pulling out a drain plug is I've seen it several times where the threads of the actual drain pan are coming out with the drain plug. That can be one of those situations where you just need to get an emergency drain plug, or I've seen it also where you get lucky and there is enough threads on the back side of the pan where the bolt will still go back in and tighten, but it will become an issue in the future. So so keep that in mind. This is where I like to see it. At that point, I know it's time to add oil. All right, we're gonna put this drain plug back. Okay, take my rag here and just kind of wipe it again, make sure nice and clean. Grab my wrench, I'm gonna just tighten it. And again, it's like the filter, you don't need to over tighten these. You want to get them nice and snug. Okay, and there is specs. You can get online, get you a little torque wrench, and you can follow that, but it isn't much. It's not anything crazy. You're gonna want to kind of keep it snug and tight, but not over torque it, because that can cause some problems for the next guy. All right, now that this is all tightened up, I am going to fill it up and I'll show you that process. All right, we're here under the engine bay. We're gonna go ahead and flip around here. Give me one sec. Okay, I've got a funnel going right into the oil fill on the top of the engine here. And I've got my oil. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and add this up into the engine. Don't probably need to bore you guys with that. It seems pretty self-explanatory. But basically, you just take your oil and you're just gonna feed it right in. Once I'm done, I'll be right back. This vehicle takes 8 quarts. So we are going to add 8 quarts of full synthetic 5W30. All right, boys, we've got the oil in it. Oil cap is on and tight. Oil filter is on and tight. Drain plug is on and tight. We're gonna go ahead and start this puppy up. We're going to start it to get a pressure test, make sure the filters, drain plug's looking good, and then also so we can prime that oil filter, and then we can pull the dipstick and take a look at what level it's at. So you just start the vehicle. What I like to do is typically drop down, always double check everything. Looking good. Oil filter, drain plug, nothing looks like it's dripping. Nice and clean, that's what you want. We're gonna let it run for just a second, get that oil circulated through the engine. All right, another pro tip here. We are going to reset the oil light on this puppy. And that's pretty important to do with your customers, is you want to make sure that you're doing everything the proper way. So here, I guess I'll explain what's going on here. So you're going to go to truck info. You're going to go down to maintenance monitor. Click OK on the left hand side of the steering wheel. There's all toggle buttons there. And then you're going to see oil life's at 24%. We just changed it all. We're going to go ahead and hit OK. Then it says to hold OK to reset. We're going to go ahead and hold it. Little loading bar is going to occur. Boom. We're at 100% life. And we're going to leave it at that. It's been running enough. We're going to turn it off. Then we're gonna go check that dipstick, see where we're at. And of course, with Ford and all their wisdom, the dipstick is clear across on the other side here. So we're gonna, first things first, we're gonna pull this puppy. It's right here, right next to your radiator tank. We're gonna pull that puppy out. These are long, man. Sometimes these puppies are 4 feet, man. First things first is you're gonna want to wipe the first one. You're just gonna wipe it off, but you're gonna see kind of what type of dipstick it is. Plastic bottom. We're gonna put that back in, and it is good to sometimes let these sit for a little bit to get a real accurate reading. Gonna pull it out again. We're gonna see where we're at. And actually looks pretty good. But always, as they say, measure twice, cut once. We're going to measure again and make sure that it has proper amount of oil and is within the safe zone on the dipstick. And it does seem to be Does seem to be within range. Sometimes these are a little hard to tell, but I always look at the back of the dipstick as well, and then the front, and I think we're spot on. So with that being said, that is how you do an oil change on a 2023 F-750. I hope you enjoyed. Again, this is Ian with Mobile Lube Colorado. Thank you so much.